I've had my issues with Marvel. Their movies coming out, their TV shows coming out. I have not been seeing that many of them, but I've seen a few. This one, I'm glad I did.
You're gonna be the best, Mom!
Are you the protectors of this world?
Are we safe?
I got to see it, and I liked it. I will go down exactly all the things I liked. This will be spoiler free. I'm just going to go into basically the directing, which the director, he's the guy who directed WandaVision. So it makes a whole lot of sense with that being aesthetically vintage, the way it is. And then Fantastic Four has that future retro look that we've seen before, like in Incredibles, the Jetsons, you know, it's just stuff like that. The casting between these guys, I was a little hesitant with Pedro Pascal being in literally everything I've seen so far, and it's been kind of bugging me a little bit. I saw Mr. Fantastic in this. I didn't see much of Pedro Pascal, so that's why I liked that his acting didn't make me think it's like another character, another version of him, I mean. Which I do like his stuff, but like, you know, the issue of oversaturation of being everywhere in all of the IP I've seen with him in, I was worried. Truly, I was. Not that much anymore. I like that with his character, you saw the knowledge that was there, and then also the overpowering of overthinking and thinking of maybe the worst idea that's going to happen and how that affects a relationship with him and Invisible Woman. With Invisible Woman, I really liked her take on it too. The whole thing with Invisible Woman, one of the leaders of this group, having to deal with her brother, her husband, and just them in general, just trying to make sure that the Earth understands that they will protect them. Because we've seen these characters before in other movies. At least for me, I've only seen the one with, you know, Chris Evans and the early 2000s. I never saw Fan Four Stick. There was too many things that people told me that was happening in that movie, and I just didn't care to. Maybe one day I will. Maybe me and Albert will check it out and just laugh at it and talk about it. If that's something people want, you know, sure. So with the thing with Ebon Moss, I loved everything. That the effects they did with this one was really well done. When I saw the trailer for Fan Four Stick, it made me just think that that thing was going to be a rocking weird brick wall, which of course, you know, he's made of rock, so of course he's supposed to look that way. But with this one, they did a good job of just having him wear the clothes, just making it natural. In this world, they were just the saviors of their world. When they came back from their ship after getting, I think it was like radiation waves that just changed their DNA and everything, they just were open arms. You know, it wasn't a whole thing. With Johnny Storm, Joseph Quinn, I enjoyed him in Stranger Things. And then here, I wasn't too sure. With any of these cast members, I was not sure at all what we were going to get from them. But what I got from Johnny was the annoying brother, but caring. And then also the dynamic of him being smart enough to, you know, he's a bit of a scientist. I'll just put it that way. I'm trying not to get too much into it. When they bring up the fact that Reed Richards brought these people together to go on a mission together, the greatest minds to go on to one mission, and then of course the tragedy of them getting superpowers and all that stuff happens. I was like, it's such a weird thing that, okay, the greatest minds, you have your wife, your brother-in-law, and your best friend. That's such a weird thing to me, but it didn't matter because they wrote a lot of moments where they got to use their skills, and I was totally in the know of like, oh, they have these skills. Of course, it makes sense when they were able to get out of these situations using these skills. So I'm going to say a little bit, and then I'm going to go into spoilers. So let's just talk. You got these people who, of course, the Silver Surfer shows up, and they're just saying already immediately, hey, your world's going to be destroyed. That's what's going to happen. So their idea is to go back up there into space and find Galactus to talk to him and say, don't do this. That's kind of it. And it goes very wrong. And then Galactus ends up on Earth and stuff goes down. Was it good? Yes. I think there was a lot of tension in all these moments. There was a lot of tension, and just the dynamic with these characters I felt was very close. They felt like a family to me. And every time something was about to happen to one of them, I knew the other would have their back. And then them getting together to fight together was just something I wanted to see. It was really fun. I really liked it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There is a post-credit scene, just to let y'all know. And then at the very end of the credits, there's a little fun one. It's not really connected to like, oh, what's going to happen next? Just to let you know, it's one of those fun ones. The first one is your main one. The last one is just for fun. But yeah. So now let's go into spoilers. So this one will be hardcore spoilers. At the beginning of this film, Reed Richards finds a bunch of different languages that he can't decipher, and Johnny's there to be like, hey, what's going on here? I like this part because it showed me not Johnny as just a ladies' man or just chasing girls constantly. There was a bit of a venturous side of him where he just wanted to learn, and he was a bit of that annoying brother where you see him with Ben Grimm and all the other ones, but then also you saw that there's some care in there, and that just made it a very dynamic character. And it was very interesting at the end where he was actually able to decipher a language, and one of the big jokes that hit in the theater was him able to do that, and the thing is just like, how does he able to do that? He has no comprehension of the English language. This makes no sense. And everyone just started laughing at that. It was a funny moment. Another thing is, so I think on the trailer there was a whole thing of, it's very clear that Invisible Woman is pregnant. Now, if you don't know, in the comic books, their son is a big deal. He is very powerful. Now, I don't know exactly how powerful, but so when Galactus was like, I want your kid, even as a comic book fan, I assume people who are not comic book fan, he's chasing their son. He wants their son. And that's a very big thing where I'm positive people would be like, I would not give him my son. Hell no. So they do everything they can to avoid Galactus to get out into safety and back to Earth after they met him. And it's such a good moment. I think it was a really good moment because there's a hint of like they could lose this baby. And it was crazy. It was so good. And then when they get back to Earth, what threw me off, well, I guess not what threw me off, but to, subvert expectations would be when he told Earth that he was not going to give away his kid. Like, he was just like, the price was too high. And they said, what was the price? And he told them, he asked for my baby, and I said no. He said that he would spare the Earth if I gave him my child, and I said no. And I was like, this world is gonna hate them, which it goes into that. And I think that is such a great thing for them to do because it's just very different. It could have been easily of them saying, oh, we tried to stop him, we couldn't. If Galactus shows up and he says, you could have given me your child, like, the reveal, he's like, don't worry, I'm here to protect my kid, and all that stuff. It could have been something weird like that, but I think that him telling them that as a character makes logical sense because he's such a logical being. And it makes sense. It's a crazy thing because they go through the whole motions of everyone being scared. They don't trust them anymore. You choose yourselves over us. And then there's a moment where I think Invisible Woman, she gives a speech, and I think she does an okay job. It makes sense for them to kind of forgive her. It's not the strongest one, but to make it very clear that they want to save Earth. Y'all are important to us. Y'all are our family and would never abandon y'all. I'm not going to give my family up for this planet, but I will not give up this planet for my baby. So it's just like, no matter what, I am here to protect you. And I think it's a good moment. Not the strongest, but yeah, it's not bad. And then another thing that happens is, you've seen on the trailers that Ben and Johnny are flying in the air, and he's saying, what time is it, Ben? I'm not saying it. What time is it, Ben? Well, I'm not going to say it. And then, I don't know why. I'm not going to say, well, it's spoilers now. You heard it. And for some reason, when he said it, I was like, you freaking hit him. It was a good clobbering time moment. And for me, I don't know. I was pumped. I was like, hit him hard. And it was crazy. The whole fight with Galactus. And it was good. It was really fun. It was going to hit me hard if Human Torch did end up getting killed because he was ready to just charge into that. And the back of my brain was like, oh, Silver Surfer's going to save him because he had that heart to heart with her where he explains, you saved your planet, but you sacrificed all these planets. All these planets were begging for mercy and you just let Galactus kill them. How do you feel? And she just runs off, and I think that's a stronger moment than most because it's just, hey, I'm just trying to save my planet. And I think it was really good. And so when she pushes him out of the way, and it's such a slow motion shot of clearly like, let's show these characters her saying, you're not doing this, I'm going to do it. And she hits them and they disappear. Who knows what they're going to do now with Galactus because he's just gone. He could be just clearly in another space, literal space, and just has no place to go. And maybe she comes back more mind controlled, more something, or maybe she dies, and then we get another Silver Surfer because there is another one in the comic books. I had a lot of fun with this. I wonder if y'all had a lot of fun with this. I would see it again. Simple as that. I want to see more of them. So when you see at the end credit of Thunderbolts, you see the Fantastic Four is there. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about that freaking mid-credit scene real quick. So the mid-credit scene, it's 4 years later, and then Doctor Doom is just with their son, just saying, "What's up?" You don't see his face, though. So this could have been before they casted Robert Downey Jr., or maybe they just wanted to make it mysterious. I'm positive they did cast him before. But I don't know. Maybe they just couldn't get him there. A lot of filming right now with Avengers Doomsday and then Secret War after that. What'd y'all think? Did y'all like it? Did you have a good time? Am I being too much about it? I had a fantastic time. Trying not to make that pun, but it's really hard because it was a fantastic movie. I'll leave it at that. Y'all have a good one. As always,
Good fight.